Hello everybody, welcome to this week's weekly pick a card tarot reading for the week of Monday, September 26th. Hope you all are doing amazing. So as always, we have three piles. Pile 1, we are using a Kambaba Jasper, pile 2, a Carnelian stone, and pile 3, a Polychrome Jasper, So go ahead and take a moment and pick your pile. Timestamps will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. Also, a quick note for those of you who are subscribed to my website, I will not be publishing the weeklies today, just simply because I'm getting the monthlies prepared. So those should be up in the next couple of days. So keep a lookout for the longer comprehensive readings, okay? Again, timestamps in the description box and the comment thread down below. Thank you all so much. See you in just a sec. Hello, pile number 1. You guys selected the Kambaba Jasper. Let's go ahead and see what comes through for you for the week. What does pile 1 need to know for the week? High Priestess, Knight of Swords, the Fool, and the Devil. Well, I don't know that rushing is going to work out super well for you. If you find yourself in a rush or trying to hurry up and do something, you may find a pretty strong clapback from the universe. I mean, like, no, you can't. But I don't want you to close your heart if that's the case, right? It's not as though just because you are being paced right now, just because things are kind of slowing down, does not mean that things are not working out. Okay, please do not confuse the two. Now, Mars is slowing way down, preparing for his retrograde on October 30th. We also have Saturn slowing down, preparing for its direct motion on October 23rd. So even though we're a ways away from that, more than a month away, there is still a slowdown happening throughout all of October, and that's really like starting now. So I have this feeling that the more dedicated you are, the more patient you can be. And I think if you are exhibiting a great deal of impatience, it may be a sign to kind of reconsider your motives and your intentions here. What is it you're really hoping to get? And do you truly believe that you can get those things? Because this High Priestess is coming out and saying that there is something surfacing within you, and you're going to need to pay attention to that. It's surfacing, but if you are desperately trying to go about doing and accomplishing and getting something done just for the sake of doing it, you may be missing out on this, because the Knight of Swords can be very loud and noisy. But she requires stillness and silence. So we're kind of seeing that contrast there. I'm looking at this Devil, and I feel like there is something that you feel you must do. This is what I mean. Like, the more dedicated you are, the more patient you will be. You're in this place now where you're like, well, I must do this. And it's not even because of a reason like, oh, well, I really need the money, although that may be the case for some of you. But I don't know that that's the main motivating factor. I think for most of you, the reason why you must do it is because your soul is calling you to do it. And if you trust the way the Fool exhibits a great deal of trust, if you trust that this is the right path for you today, right now, then I think you'll be happy with just taking it one day at a time without trying to take massive leaps all at once. I feel like that Knight of Swords, I'm getting a little bit of an overcompensation vibe. Now that may be you. It may be someone else too. You're noticing in someone else that they are overcompensating for something. And if you notice it in someone else, the reason why that person is showing up for you in that way right now is to get you to really think about your purity and your pureness of intention. Let's see what else comes out here to give this a little bit more context. King of Cups. 8 of Coins. Knight of Wands. 7 of Wands. Okay, because I'm really feeling that there are two totally different types of people right now. People who are not letting themselves slow down. And when I say slow down, I don't mean like you stop working altogether and you get lazy and complacent, right? But rather you slow down in terms of being able to focus on the more mundane day-to-day types of things. Like, I know we're not really in Virgo season anymore, but we do technically still have Mercury retrograde and Venus in Virgo and even Libra, right? Libra is also a very orderly day-by-day kind of sign. It has a lot to do with bringing order into chaos. And I think there has been a lot of chaos the past couple of months. Just things kind of get thrown at the wall, see what we're doing, let's follow our hearts, let's do this, let's do that. I don't know what's going on. You know, there was just like a bunch of stuff that went down this summer. And so now Libra is saying, okay, we need to put everything in order. And so while we were in preparation mode throughout Virgo season, we were trying to get organized. Now in Libra season, it's actually going to start being of some good use. And so slowing down in terms of not feeling that sense of urgency or that rush to hurry up and get it done, but rather slowing it down and paying attention to the details that need that attention, and bringing order to the chaos. And then there are going to be the people who are just still like tornadoes, just sort of busting through things, like they're not in tune enough with how the energy is shifting. And believe me, like through October, and I know we're not there yet, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but throughout October, it's just Saturn goes direct, Pluto goes direct, Jupiter goes back into Pisces, and just like and Mars goes retrograde as well. So it's just like everything is kind of starting to turn over. And people who aren't attuned to that are going to clumsily continue to barrel down some kind of a road that wasn't intended to be like the permanent choice. Right? It wasn't intended to be like the end all be all. It wasn't intended to be maybe a detour, maybe even a shortcut, but it wasn't intended to be like the whole thing or the final thing. So you may see people getting a little bit more and more lost. But I think with the High Priestess and the King of Cups, you seem very steady and well grounded. You seem firm and sure with things. You may pull it in a little bit, right? You may kind of keep things behind closed doors, keep things secret. You don't necessarily want to expose what you're working on. You don't want to showcase everything. You don't want to blab your mouth all over town and be that person that, oh, they can talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Like, you want to be the person that shows them, hey, look, it's already done, rather than declaring at the top of your lungs saying, I'm doing it, I'm going to do it, I promise, I will. That's kind of this energy here. I will do it. It's in the works. We're working on it. We're getting the investors. Oh, I'm kind of starting with new ideas. I'm doing this. I'm doing, but it's like, just shh. Like, stop talking. It's not about what you tell people. It's about what you do, right? It's about how you carry through. And this King of Cups is always so determined to carry something through. He doesn't care what other people think. He just does it because he knows he needs to do it in his life. Right? Because I think if you do sort of start sharing it and exposing it, people will push back a little bit. They will have something to say. And I know you don't want to get confused. You're doing such a great job. You're being so productive. Things are working. They're moving forward. There aren't any issues. Like, I think a lot of the kinks throughout Leo season and Virgo season, they're starting to get worked out. Right? That's what Libra season does. It takes the chaos and it streamlines everything and gets everything, I'd say it's even a little bit more organized than Virgo season, you know, because it actually comes to some sort of resolution here in Libra. It comes to a fully functional system here. And people's opinions right now, I don't know how much they really matter. even if it is someone that you really respect, I'd be wary of getting any and all pieces of advice, and maybe later on, like let's wait till maybe Sag season, Capricorn season. But right now, I think keeping it to yourself and just continuing down your path. Because if even an expert in your field comes in and gives you some pieces of advice, or someone who's succeeded in the very thing that you want to do, their advice is still a projection of their own personal experience. And while sometimes that can be very helpful and can help shorten the learning curve, it doesn't always necessarily mean that that is the best route for you. So right now, this is about your focus, being focused and being dedicated while still remaining open-hearted and available to that which the universe has in store for you, while simultaneously keeping out a lot of the noise. Okay? So let's pull out a couple of oracle cards for you here. Serendipity. Being attuned to the energy is so important, because when you are attuned, you don't miss obvious stuff. You don't miss the obvious people or the obvious connections or the obvious conversations. And I feel like with the night energy, they're just so focused on their thing that they miss stuff. That's why the slowdown is important. That's why pulling it back. Because while you'll still be productive, you will also be receptive. Okay? And you'll be open to seeing the signs. You'll be open to seeing the magic of what's happening. Adjustments are required. Well, that's perfect for the beginning of Libra season. We just had that new moon yesterday, so adjustments are required. We're perfecting the system even further. We're kind of got the system going throughout Virgo season, Libra season, Scorpio season. We're honing in on like the best way to go about doing something. Libra establishes order, while Scorpio executes as perfectly as it possibly can. Okay? And so whatever adjustments need to be made, please do not be afraid to make them. If it's an adjustment in your schedule or an adjustment in your budget, an adjustment in how you're spending time with people, an adjustment with the people that you're spending time with, whatever it is, don't be afraid to do it. Libra season is the perfect time. Okay? All right, pile one, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You know I love and adore you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. You guys selected the Carnelian stone. So let's go ahead here and take a look. See what comes through for you. Seven of coins. You may be questioning whether or not your new ventures will succeed. Will the relationships work out? Will you get the money that you need? Right now, astrologically, is probably not the best time to waste time thinking about that kind of thing. Rather, it's best to just keep going. I feel like you are in this process of overcoming past issues, and by continuing to just go forward in spite of the feelings and the insecurities and whatnot, you're going to prove to yourself that you can, and that it is possible, and that it probably wasn't as hard or as complicated as you made it out to be. I think this is a perfect example of action, or taking action as a means of changing your vibration so that you can then in turn attract more of the things that you want. Sometimes with the law of attraction type stuff, it always comes from emotion and mindset first before action. And while I think that's good to a degree, sometimes it's hard to motivate. And if you've been having issues with motivation, as I see with the 7 of Coins, now would be a good time to just do the things and to not let the emotion or any of the other things that tend to clog up the channel, to not let them clog up the channel. And you do that through conscious action. It's like doing it anyway, right? Doing it in spite of not feeling like it. Now, that can be argued that could be very anti-manifestation process, right? That kind of goes against it. But I think in the past, probably in the past couple of months or so, you have dedicated yourself to something, right? This is about a promise that you made to yourself, a promise that you made that you would do it. And this has a lot to do with your self-respect and showing up for yourself in spite of a perceived lack of motivation to a degree. Maybe you got a little bit worn out. Maybe the energy is starting to slow down. I mean, it is. We do have Mars and Saturn both slowing at this moment. They're officially going to change direction at the end of October. And I know that's like a month away, but we're already starting to feel the effects of that. We are being paced. Okay, that's a theme that came out through the October tarot readings that I'm still preparing and will publish this week. But we're being paced. We are being asked to just go one step at a time. And sometimes that means doing in spite of maybe not really feeling totally super excited about it. It's like these are the moments that make or break people. These are the moments that weed out the weak and separate the strong. And I feel like you are going to kind of conquer this. You're going to conquer this aspect of yourself that may be wanting to shrink and pull back. Maybe a little bit of an internal, I don't want to call it a battle, but I think that may be a word that we understand, a little bit of an internal battle. See, the thing about Gemini energy, with this Mars in Gemini right now, is because Gemini is symbolized by the twins, there is a dualistic component. We are also in Libra season, which is also very dualistic with the two sides of the scales. And sometimes, especially with the Mars in Gemini, people can have a tendency to build up very quickly and then tear down very quickly as well, because it kind of, that's the balance there. Build up, tear down, instead of building and continuing to build. Let's see what else comes out here. So again, that's the real test here, is can we continue with the things that we said we were going to do. I'm happy we got the Lovers card because beautiful. Both of these cards indicate the self-respect component and the abundance component as well. Sometimes when things don't pay out right away, or we don't see the positive effects, we don't see or immediate effects, we tend to say, oh, well, it's not working. Things right now kind of need to have a long-term projection. Okay, we need to be thinking in terms of years here as opposed to just the immediate week or month ahead of us. The reason why I say that is because Pluto and Saturn, I'm going to do a whole video on this through October, but Pluto and Saturn are now preparing to make their last hurrah through their current signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. And a new era is opening for us, and because Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years, it's going to be like a 20-year era. And just because things may be slow to get going or slow to produce results does not mean that there will not be any results, because there clearly will be. I feel that the path you are on is a path that will likely make you very happy. It's a path that will take you where you feel you wish to be, and there will be contentment, there will be joy, and there will be this feeling that you truly are living out this divinity that exists within you. The path that you are on is helping you to attain deeper levels of understanding of your truest self, which is, of course, the self that is connected to the Creator at all times. and is not necessarily encumbered by a personality or preferences or traumas or upbringing or culture, right? That those things don't necessarily have an influence on the true you truly shining through. She's the one that has the Holy Grail. Okay, I love my Queen of Cups. She's one of my favorite cards because she signifies this treasure that we have, the treasure of our soul and our spirit. And when we start to understand, not only understand, but live according to that, that is the time when all of these incredible opportunities and moments of abundance and prosperity start to filter in our lives. Now is not a time to doubt yourself, in spite of the fact that doubting is actually pretty strong. Like, you're going to want to doubt yourself. You're going to want to pull back. You're going to want to revert into something that's weirdly comfortable. It's like uncomfortably comfortable. You're going to want to go back to something that you know and that you understand. But I have a feeling that some of you, pile two, like your trajectories, like this path that you're on is going to take you to a destination that you never even considered over the next several years. And it's going to take you into places within yourself that you didn't know existed. And I think that's a beautiful thing, but you have to keep going. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to have to repeat some of the same stuff. And obviously, through the past 15 years with Pluto in Capricorn, there was some really rough stuff, right? There was rough stuff with relationships, rough stuff with financials, with businesses that people were trying to grow, with health stuff. And I had a lot of clients that had issues with pregnancy as well. So if that was you, that was a big theme that came out the past couple of years. A lot of people coming to me with issues with pregnancy. So I feel like there are things now starting to clear up, starting to open up. But it's not it's not just this week. It's like in the months and even maybe year or 2 years coming. Okay? So just keep going. Please don't stop. Okay. So let's go ahead here and pull out some oracle cards. Soulmates. Beautiful. You are going to be meeting incredible people. People that align, that understand, that value the same things you value. These may be romantic soulmates, and they may be business partners or friends. You may develop closer relationships with siblings, whatever the case may be. Hold those people very close. Those people are, as we know in life, very rare, and they're the ones that are going to love and support you. He's got this little penguin, has a little key in his flipper. I was going to say his hand, but he doesn't have hands. His little flipper. He's got a little key. And, these are people that have the keys to your heart, the keys to your energy, and they will love and support you. And I think in many ways it's going to be because of them that you are empowered to really shine. Okay, so let's see. You are good enough. Yeah, that may be a part of the pullback here. Now, not everyone has issues with self-esteem and self-confidence. I'm not going to blanket statement that. But if you are someone who is struggling with self-esteem and confidence, this is a time where you're just going to have to get over that. You have to say this is just something I'm saying in my head. It's not real. It's not necessarily an accurate depiction of who I truly am. So you have to be careful of the stories you tell yourself, right? Ace of Swords. You have to be more real and understand the falsities and just kind of those voices, right? Just those voices that we have that somehow we give them power, but they really don't have any power. Okay? All right, pile two. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 3, you guys selected the Polychrome Jasper. So let's go ahead here and take a look, see what comes through for you. Justice, Queen of Wands. Okay, well, I like the Queen energy because it's both receptive, faithful, and also action-oriented. These represent the zodiac signs of Capricorn and Aries. Okay, both cardinal. Cardinal is about initiation. Now we are in the season of Libra, which is also cardinal, so that makes a lot of sense. And we have a Libra card right here. So it tells me that this is, I don't know, something is initiating, whether it's initiating in your heart or in your gut, or if you're actually doing something. Hopefully you were able to utilize that new moon yesterday. If you didn't get a chance, you can still do something today if you wanted to do a little meditation or a prayer or go for a walk or just do something to honor this new moon in Libra energy and to really think about who it is you truly want to become. And I think in a lot of ways, asking for inspiration to motivate. Well, hold on, let me think of the way to say this. I'm asking for the inspiration that will motivate you to take action. Sometimes when we're starting something new, taking action can be more challenging, especially if we have a lot of fear. But this is a time, cardinal seasons, it's not about kind of cowering in any way. It's about standing up, standing firm with an open heart and just doing it and just plowing forward. You just go, regardless of what's coming up in your mind. This is like a season of true courageousness and being driven by passion and being driven by a curiosity and enthusiasm. And I think if you can tap into that, things are going to start moving pretty fast. Now, we do have an energy with Mars slowing down. Saturn retrograde is also slowing down. They're going to change directions at the end of next month. So please bear with me because I'll probably mention this every single week up until that point. But we are being paced, but it doesn't mean that things are not still moving forward. Things are definitely a lot slower than they were. But the reason for that is to help us to make intentional and purposeful decisions. So we're not putting ourselves in commitments or obligations that will get messy later on. Okay, people who are haphazardly making decisions or are just wanting to do things just because it's different or just because it's available and they're not really thinking about how they feel, they're going to end up creating a bigger mess for themselves. People who are taking things into consideration and considering the things that they don't know as much as you can, right? And having that a level of caution and that level of awareness, you can still move forward and you'll be prepared for pretty much anything. And because you are that receptive, being that prepared for pretty much anything, it actually works well in your favor. And while it may feel like things are going very slowly, or things are going slowly rather, they're actually going quickly. It's just your perception of time may be a little bit messed up with Saturn slowing down. So don't underestimate, and I said this through Virgo season as well, but please do not underestimate the power and the leverage of small tasks. Okay, you're in an initiation phase right now for a reason. Okay, Libra season, Capricorn, Aries, and Cancer seasons. These are times of the year. We get four seasons per year, right? Where we get to engage in this big push for things. And it's exciting because it feeds previous endeavors and it brings in new ones, and it all builds on top of each other season after season. So likely between now and Sagittarius season, you can see a lot of growth. I do see you working with someone as well, that there may be some kind of a partnership or some kind of collaboration to a degree, which will likely turn out really well. So if you are collaborating with someone, or you're communicating, or you're talking about doing something together, yeah, there's just a lot of people, a lot of court cards coming out. So you may have more social interaction this month, which is great. Ooh, love this. I love what's happening here. It's just like, here's an Aries card, here's a Libra card. It's like the independent self versus you and another person. A lot of integration, which was a big theme throughout September. Integrating new ideas, new people. And it's like everyone is getting helped, right? When you do something with this person, you're both increasing your position or your station in life. You're helping them, they're helping you. But you get helped in different ways, right? I'm seeing a lot of practicality with the coin energies here, also here. So there is a lot of practicality, but there's an element of romance about it too, with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Cups. And when I say romance, I don't necessarily mean romantic relationships, although it could be. It's just that your dreams seem to be fantasized right now. You're kind of in this position where you look at your goals, you look at the end game, that place where you ultimately see yourself, and you start feeling like it's almost as though you're like in love with that idea. Now that can be a little tricky because some people get into a delusional space, but with all the coins, I don't see delusion. But I think it's important to have a romantic view of your goals, because if you didn't, it may not be motivating enough to move in that direction. So allow yourself to romanticize about your dreams. Take a journal, write about it, you can meditate on it. You can just lay in bed and feel on it, whatever it is you need to do. But it's like you're kind of anchoring yourself to a future self that from your perspective, is ideal. Whether it's the owner of some huge business, or you're madly in love with your husband or your wife or your partner, where you are, having a child, where you are traveling the world, like whatever it is, the romanticizing is actually very magical energy. Okay, so you don't want to not take that opportunity to do that. But I also see you're matching that with action. Action is very important right now, has been for the past couple months, because in the beginning of the year, it was all about the dreaming, maybe a lot of romanticizing, a lot of fantasy, a lot of daydreaming, that kind of thing. But now we have a chance to actually implement things. So we implement ideas, and we implement steps, and we set out the plan and the strategy, and we actually do the things. I think when you wake up in the morning, there are things that you're just like, well, I just don't have a choice. And you don't give yourself that opportunity to negotiate with yourself. It's not like, oh, well, maybe I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Well, if I do this today, then I can go to the gym tomorrow. Or if I do this today, then maybe I can do that other thing tomorrow. Like, you're not doing that. It's like, no, I'm going to do the things I said I was going to do. And I know you are being strong with yourself. I'm just looking at this Emperor here. I'm looking at the Justice card. Like, there's just not a lot of wiggle room with these two cards. There's no, and as much as I want to say there's in between with the Justice is not an in-between card so much as it is a card aligned with truth. There's no in-between with truth. There's no gray area. There is only truth, right? And so when you are aligned with your truth, which is your soul's ambitions coming through, when you're aligned with that and you are dedicated and committed to it, there is no wiggle room and there is no compromise. And I see you being a little unbending with yourself, which I think right now is good. I don't know that that's always good, but right now it is good. I think when we get into Pisces season, we'll have a lot, even Sagittarius season, we'll have a little bit of flexibility there. It's not going to be permanent. We like mutable signs for the flexibility. That's always a good time. We got 4 seasons a year where we can kind of make changes where we need to. But during a cardinal sign, we want to stay focused. We want to stay, especially with Libra, we want to stay committed. We want to fulfill our obligations and fulfill our promises. That's why you don't want to just get into agreements with people, with just anybody, You don't want to overcomplicate your life later on. But yeah, I think you're in a really, really good place, and all the right people are showing up. I'm really liking the other people. I like their energy. I like their ideas, their work ethic, their willingness to show up in the same way that you are going to show up. Everyone is just busy. We're all just busy doing our stuff. And the more busy we are, I think right now we're going to take a lot of pleasure in the busyness because we are going to see the results, okay? At least small results that will ultimately lead up to the big results. Okay. Unfinished symphony. Yeah, I do think you have a ways to go, and you know that, and you like that. I think you like the fact that you are in progress. You're enjoying the whole process of learning, the whole process of coming together. What else? What do you need to release? Well, I didn't really get huge energies in these tarot cards regarding attachments, because I don't know that the attachments are keeping you from doing things. But you may bump up against some stuff, especially as the sun comes into that opposition with Chiron over the next week and a half. That opposition with Chiron may surface some need to heal. That's going to happen with the full moon in Aries, okay, which is not happening until October 9th, but technically we are in a waxing moon cycle now. We just had the new moon yesterday. So we are in a waxing moon cycle now. We're building up to a full moon conjunct Chiron. So there will be things that surface, but I don't know that it's going to be like a painful situation or a painful feeling, more so as it is of just logical release of saying, well, this is just something that I have to do. I can't really avoid this. It's just what needs to be done. I need to let it go. I need to move on, because the future self that I have tethered myself to really depends on that. There's a lot of strength coming through right now for people. I love cardinal seasons for that. A lot of strength and spirit. Okay? All right, pile 3, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.